Today's learning target is I can find the prime factorization of a composite number. A prime number is a whole number that has two factors, one and itself. So when we talk about factors, those are the numbers that we times by each other. So for example, 2 is a prime number because the factors of 2 are 1 times 2. Okay? 3 would be a prime number because 1 times 3 are the factors, and there aren't any other factors that I can use to get to 3. 4 would not be, and we'll see why in a second, but 5 will be because 1 times 5 are the factors. 1 and 5 are the factors of 5. 7 would be another one. 1 and 7 are the only factors I can use to get to 7. A composite number is a whole number that has more than two factors. So when we look at this, 4 is a composite number because the factors I have are 1 and 4 and 2 times 2. So the factors of 4 are 1, 2, and 4. Okay? 6 would be a composite number because I can times 1 times 6 and I can do 2 times 3. So the factors of 6 are 1, 2, 3, and 6. 8 would be because there's more than two factors. I can go 1 times 8. I can go 2 times 4. So that one has 4 factors. 1, 2, 4, and 8. Today you're going to be asked to use prime factorization. And prime factorization is just showing what prime numbers that you multiply together to equal a specific number. So if I was asked to find the prime factorization of 60, what I'm going to do is to create what's called a factor tree. So to make a factor tree, I start by writing down the number that I'm going to use my prime factorization by, and I think about what two numbers can I multiply to get to that number. So in this case, I could do 2 times 30, okay, and that gives me 60. Now, as soon as I come across a prime number, I circle it. So I know 2 is prime because it only has 2 factors. Now 30 I can continue to break down. So I know that 30 I could do 10 times 3 to get that. Okay, now I know 3 is prime, so I'm going to circle that. So I'm finding all the prime numbers that I multiplied to get to 60. So I'm going to continue. 10 is a composite number. I know if I take 2 times 5, I get 10. Okay, and I know 2 is prime, so I circle it, and 5 is prime, so I circle it. So now I've found all the prime numbers that I would multiply to get to 60. So now I write them down, and I write them in order from least to greatest. So it's 2 times 2 times 3 times 5. Now if I've done this right, when I multiply these numbers, it should equal 60. So I could check it here. So let's take 2 right here times 2 is 4. Okay, and now I'm going to take 4 and I'll times it by this 5 because mentally I know that's 20. So 2 times 5, or 4 times 5, excuse me, is 20. Okay, and now if I do 20 times this 3, that gives me 60. So that is the correct prime factorization. Now another way I could write that out, since there are two 2's, I could write it 2 squared times 3 times 5. Okay, so either one of those ways would be the right way to do the prime factorization for 60. If I'm asked to factor the expression like I am here, okay, I'm looking to factor 12 times some number x and some other number y. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to split up the variables with from the numbers. Okay, so 12 times x, y, all right, and then I would just show that this way. I'm going to split up x and y this way. Okay, I'm going to circle those because I've isolated them. I've gotten them alone. Now I just factor my 12, just like I did before. So I know 12 is 3 times 4, and 3 is prime, so I circle it. And 4 is 2 times 2, and I circle those because they are prime. And now I'm going to write out the factors here. Now, I'm going to use the dot for the timesing when I write these out because I have a variable x. And if I'm putting the times sign with an x, it's going to get confusing. So I could write it out like this, or I could write it 2 squared times 3 times x times y. And we always put the variables at the end.